The title of this discussion is The Disruptors Workforce. Has that journey of taking the core of your existing business and reskilling them been less disruptive but enabled you to keep being a business that changes?
Yeah, but I think it's also actually helped the workforce be the disruptor rather than, it's not about the business impacting our people, but actually our people quite often taking ownership of that change themselves. Either at an individual level, I want to select into taking on different work. So for example, our India operations team, in 1 year we had 17,000 people who were largely doing kind of data processing type jobs, put their hands up to say, actually, large parts of my job, not all, but there's large parts of my job we can get rid of using robotics process automation technologies or bits of machine learning. Like the handshake with them was, if you're doing that, we'll put you through a new skilling path into working on analytics or insights type technologies. So additional client value service and good for the individual because they got progression in the firm and they got surety about the future.
And outside of India, did people embrace that process?
Yeah,
because I would appreciate the Indians are constantly wanting to learn, but traditionally I've found Western individuals who are more focused on wanting to keep their skills. Trying to retrain a Java programmer, can be quite a difficult activity.
Yeah. We've kind of had to reactivate the learning culture. So there's, the sort of content provided by 3,000-4,000 learning boards. They have curators in the business, but also getting the whole kind of 500,000 people learning properly again all the time has been a key part of the last 5 years for us.
And how have you done that? What can we learn from techniques that you could share?
What can you nick? So I think the big thing has been starting a conversation with people. So actually being deliberate about where is the business going. So we've had a conversation internally around what the wise pivot of the business is. So this idea about we are moving the business into these areas, and that's been very clear internally about where that's going. But then dropping that down to a level that people can individually engage with and go, okay, do I want to buy into one of those things for the future? Actually, am I going to start to invest some time in it? And that's been very much, as all these good things are, lots of good local conversations with leadership through the organisation. Some really strong top-down leadership. Late COPN on term, we've got Julie Sweet, our new CEO, Ellen Shook, who's our Chief HR Officer, like really, really strong leadership at the top who get this idea about more digital and more human at the same time. But then actually it's about leaders who know the folks on the ground, having the conversation about, okay, this is actually happening. Are you getting on board with the journey or not? Here's the things that are actually available to help you. Yeah.
It's an interesting point that I think that you touched on there about being more human. IT and technology has been an industry that has been incredibly inwardly focused during almost its entire period, and here we are just as we're approaching 2020, and finally, that's not going to be the case. The last 30 years of my career has been about people worrying about boxes and wires and data centers and business software and lines of code. Today, no one worries about that anymore, right? I mean, what you worry about is how is technology going to affect people or affect products? And that ability to have people in your team who can empathise, who think about customer experience, have a slightly more human view of the world, I think in 5 years' time that's going to be much more important than can they program Java, which you can teach them, but you cannot teach someone to light up the sort of empathy gene if you haven't got it. So I think that's going to be a seismic change for technology as a whole, because we're just not used to that. We've had 50 years of people who were where they are because they're good at ones and zeros.